I'm Jill Saward from SHAKATAK and you're rocking and rolling with Soundfire.com. I've got a few questions to answer and I've got my trusty computer here to help me because I'm getting a bit old, you see, so I've got to read everything. How did I first get into music? Okay, I joined a rock band that were looking for a guy singer. They were advertising they needed a girl with balls, a guy with balls to join the band, and I thought, cheek, you know, I've got balls and I'm a woman, so I went along to the audition. I was 16 years old, 15, 16, and I showed them I had the balls to be a great rock singer, and I got the job, so that was my first introduction to the business. And it was through a magazine called The Melody Maker. Second question, inspirations. Well, that's kind of easy because even way back in Fusion Orchestra, all the early bands that I was with, the main inspiration for me at that time was Stevie Wonder, I'm afraid. And still to this day, he holds the key to everything. He's everything to me. His music transcends everything. I'm a huge fan, and I'm hoping to see him when he comes over to the UK this year. I doubt I'll get tickets. But yeah, he's my hero. He was my hero then. He's my inspiration now. Where do I compose music? Well, look, you know, I'm in the beautiful surroundings of Sardinia, Italy, and I'm lucky enough to have a studio down here. So I do most of my compositions down here in my little studio, in my little shed, and the sun shines in. It's fantastic. It's quite an inspiring place. As you can see, there's just me here, no neighbours. I can make as much row as I possibly want. I've been doing that professionally now, as I said before, since I was 15, 16, so I've never done anything else. Right? This is all I can do, I'm sorry. Right, you join me here now. Before I answer the next questions, I've got the whole menagerie here, my cat and my dog, which is value for money, value for money. What struggles did I have musically? That was the question. It was kind of difficult in the beginning when I was a young girl because I was very much in a man's world, and you struggled to be taken seriously because I was also a bit of a dolly bird in the day, you know, and I think you've got to be man enough to stand up to the guys. So that was the only struggle. Businessmen and being in a man's world in the past was difficult. I don't regard that as a problem anymore. How do I get my music out in the world? Well, that's kind of easy because we're with a major record company. I'm lucky, you know, we compose stuff, we make albums, and we've got a great record company, JVC in Japan, Secret here in the UK and Europe, and they do all the work for us, you know, that's what we pay them for, so they get the music out into the world, and hopefully you guys buy it. Next question, do you gig often? Yes. That's why I'm wearing dark glasses. I'm tired. We gig all the time. We haven't stopped with SHAKATAK since 1980. We're constantly on the road, and when we're not on the road, we're recording. And that's great, you know, 35, 36 years on. It's fantastic to be in that position. What was your favourite gig is the next question. Well, we've had so many monumental gigs, but the one I remember the most was we went out to Cape Town and we were invited to do a charity gig in the Cape Flats, which is pretty poor, and it was a free concert, and at first we were reluctant to do it, but when we got there we realised that the concert was alcohol free, drug free, everything free. It was a you know, a charitable gig and say you know, clean living gig, which was a bit of a shock to us all. But as it happened, it turned out to be one of the most spiritual and wonderful gigs that we've ever done, and it's hard to describe. It was just the atmosphere, the lighting, you know, the location, and the people at the Cape Flats. It was joyous. It was my favourite gig. Next question is easy because what are your future plans? Well, as I say, we're working the whole time and making albums, and we're just finishing the next SHAKATAK album, and that sort of coincides with a re-release of my first solo album that featured Jason Rebello, George Anderson and loads of other great people. And future, we're looking at June for my second solo album, which also features some fantastic musicians. I'm really looking forward to that one. The final question on this list is kind of a good one. It's any advice to budding musicians, vocalists, on how to go about not getting into the industry, but managing to stay in the industry and getting ahead in the industry. I would say for me, the most valuable lesson you can learn is be your greatest fan and admirer, and also be your greatest critic. Stand outside yourself, look at your work, look at your movements, look at what you're doing, look at what you're producing, and when it's great, pat on the back, big yourself up, really, seriously. But also have the ability to look at what you've done, step outside and say, was that really wise? Was that really good? Is that my best? Is it good enough? How am I coming over? Be the nastiest critic and be your biggest fan. That's the answer I give to that one. Once again, this is Jill Saward talking to you from Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of the social media you can muster up would be fantastic, on that funky Soundfyr.com. It's kind of a good idea, and I hope you enjoy this little selfie. I feel like Kim Kardashian. It's a shame I don't look like her.